Hi everyone, welcome to the Venari Podcast. My name is Ben Brickell. Pleased to have Mridula Pore joining us today from Peppy. We're really excited to hopefully get Peppy on board at Venari Partners. For everyone listening, Peppy is a brilliant new company that's supporting women's health in the workplace and doing some wonderful things. And for us, speaks to a lot of the work we do in D&I with a lot of our clients. So looking forward to finding out some more. So Mridula, obviously you and I have known each other for a long time, but for everyone listening, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself?
Well, thanks, Ben. First of all, thank you for having me. It's good to be here. So my name is Mridula Pore. I am CEO and one of the co-founders at Peppy. I have a background in healthcare, commercial and strategy. So I spent some time at McKinsey and also with Novartis Group in a commercial role. So really seen different aspects of healthcare, both from the NHS side, from the pharma sector side, and across different geographies, having spent some time in the US as well.
Great, thank you. And so tell us a little bit more about Peppy, your business. Mm-hmm. What does Peppy do?
Yep, so Peppy, we're a London-based startup, and we support people through big life transitions that impact their health. They impact an individual, they will often impact a family or a household, and they can affect people's ability to be engaged, productive, and stay at work. So if you think about things like going on a fertility journey, or having the arrival of a new baby into a family, or for a woman going through the menopause, these can be highly disruptive episodes in people's lives. They can affect your physical health, they can affect your mental health, relationships, your ability to concentrate, even sometimes to show up at work can be impacted. And people, can often feel overwhelmed. But the majority of people, majority of the time, are not ill in the way that a doctor would define it. They don't need medical care, but they need information, they need advice, they need support, they need to know where to go, whether they need medical care or not. And really, that's what Peppy does. It's through an app, we connect people to real life health professionals, nurses, allied health professionals, counselors, lactation consultants, who can guide people through their journey and communicate with them in whichever way suits them best, whether that's chat, whether that's through tailored content, whether that's through joining some of our live sessions remotely, or whether that's through one-to-one phone and video consultations.
Yeah, that's great. It's such a great support tool, and for individuals, obviously, but also for companies looking for being able to offer this type of support to their employees as they go through, as you say, these sort of major life events, and speaks a lot to a lot of the initiatives we're working on at the moment. So I think it's a great thing. How do you come up with the idea?
Yeah, well, I was a line manager myself in my previous role, both a first line and a second line manager. And, for me, it was a bit of a personal experience of, when somebody is coming to you saying that they are struggling in their personal life and circumstances out of work, as a line manager, you're actually pretty handicapped. You can have the best intentions, but there's, other than maybe directing them to an employee assistance program, or, if they need more sort of medical care to their private medical insurance or something, there's very little you can do to help that. So that was sort of my experience. But also coming from healthcare, I realized that support that's available to people through the NHS or through private medical insurance is simply doesn't cover these episodes in life. And they do disproportionately affect women. I had my own kids in that role and sort of experienced that myself. And could really see the potential of tech to be able to bridge that gap between Googling symptoms online or Googling what to do when your babies won't stop crying at 3 a.m. And when you rock up at your GP's office, because a lot of time, a lot of pain, a lot of difficulty can happen in that intervening period.
Yeah, that's great. And so how do you engage with your companies that you work with? How does it work, day to day?
Yeah. So we work with a really wide range of companies. So this is, we do work with investment banks and corporate law firms, but we also work with retailers. Obviously, being a virtual support service, it can be used for people who are working in the field, people who are working in retail branches, people who are working in call centers. Doesn't matter what someone's job is. We're all human and we all have these needs. So we work with employers to broadcast the availability of Peppy services through their organizations and communicate that through them. And then all the user has to do is just sign up, download the app and sign up. They use their work email address, but then most importantly, they don't have to tell HR. that they need Peppy. They don't even have to disclose it to their line manager. They can just sign up. We will verify that they're an employee. They can access the service completely anonymously from their employer, confidentially. And the employer basically covers a fixed cost, which provides access to their whole workforce for Peppy for that period of time. And as they go through different journeys, whether it's maybe starting to think about fertility issues, or maybe being in the midst of an IVF journey, or coming to the end of that journey, whether that's a new parent or whether that's someone going through the menopause, or the partners. Often we make it available to employees and their partners, because, as I said, it's always, these things are family or household issues. They're not just affecting people individually.
Yeah, for sure. Are you starting to get some feedback on how this is going down and how it's being received?
Really well. I mean, the reality is there are a lot more people than you'd ever realize who are struggling with these issues. I mean, often with parental leave, employers have a pretty good sense, especially maternity leave, because they get the MAT1B forms in. Fertility and menopause, we find HR teams are consistently surprised by how many people will sign up for the service and use it, because people don't like to talk about it at work. And so when it's made available and people come to find out about it, the uptake has consistently been higher than most employers think. And the feedback that we get from users is so emotive. I'll share some feedback that we got actually just today from one of our menopause users. And actually this is with an NHS employer. She said, to be honest, it wasn't until I joined your app that a lot of my symptoms started to make sense. I can say apart from hot flushes, I was pretty clueless. It's a journey I know, but hopefully one I can improve now I'm aware. So thank you. So you really get a sense that, you're affecting people's lives, their quality of life on a day-to-day basis. And they're so grateful. It's really humbling and amazing to know that we now got into hands of thousands of people.
Yeah, that's great to get such sort of direct feedback. It must be so rewarding. I know you've got a good team around you as well. Do you want to tell us a bit about your team at Peppy?
Yep. So we have an amazing clinical team. So our approach is to work always with the leaders in their fields. So our menopause service is led by Kathy Abernethy, who was the former chair of the British Menopause Society and is now director of our menopause services. Our fertility service is led by Francesca Stein, who's the current chair of the Royal College of Nursing Fertility Network. My co-founders, Max and Evan, we come from very different backgrounds. So Max is a serial entrepreneur and Evan comes from an COO and ops and tech background working in the healthcare sector. And we have our team is sort of distributed across the UK, and now in the world of post-COVID, we are remote first across the UK, but also our tech team are internationally based as well. So really a very flexible, very diverse team from all over the place, really.
Very cool. Yeah, like you say, in the modern world, everyone seems to be spreading with more remote working. That's great. Thank you. Is there any sort of final statement before we wrap up? Anything else you wanted to tell us about Peppy?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so about Peppy, but I think what's, sort of looking back, I think one of the things that the pandemic has shown us is the role of employers changing. And now when literally we're seeing into people's homes and seeing their kids running around in the background when we're on work calls, some of the realities of what people have been struggling with, particularly during the pandemic, but it's only exacerbated a lot of issues that were going on in people's lives anyway. We're really seeing employers take note. And like I said, it's not just the blue chips, it's not just professional services, it's across the spectrum. We work with supermarkets, we're working with NHS trusts, we're working with retailers. And so I think it's, Peppy is just sort of part of this wave of change that is going through, and it's much bigger than the UK as well. We're seeing it happen across markets. So it's an exciting time to both, I think, be in HR and see that role change, and exciting times for organizations like ours.
Yeah, definitely the role of the HR leader is changing. But look, Mridula, thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to hear about your story and all the great work you are doing through Peppy. For anyone listening that would like to hear more or find out more about Peppy, please follow the link that should be on your screen at the moment, and get in touch with Mridula if you'd like to find out more about how Peppy can help you.
Be delighted. Thank you so much, Ben. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. Take care.